Hello. I'm a little nervous to do this, but I want to talk. Everybody's living their lives since restrictions have gone down. I've recently separated from my husband, and he's already moved on to another relationship. This year has been interesting, to say the least. I've had an emotional roller coaster, an intense emotional roller coaster. And it's not just for the fact of me separating and finding out I was married to somebody who I found out I really didn't know. That would take an emotional toll on anybody, but I also have BPD, which stands for borderline personality disorder. And I have bipolar disorder, anxiety disorder, a panic disorder, ADHD, PTSD, a binge eating disorder, and I struggle. Before this, I was a recluse. And I'm slowly going back to being a recluse. I struggle going out of the house now since COVID happened. I'm having severe anxiety every time I leave the house now. I'm in therapy. I went to IOP DBT for a year, which stands for Intensive Outpatient Dialectical Behavior Therapy. And that is where I went to an intensive group therapy session for 3 hours a day, a private therapy session for an hour, and then another class session for 3 hours in a day. And that was all in 1 week. And when I was doing this, I was also going to school. I started college. I was going to my doctor's appointments because I was getting ready for bariatric surgery. I got into DBT because I was required to go to therapy. And honestly, trying to get approved for bariatric surgery and being put in DBT was a life changer. I really love the fact that I went through DBT. I learned a lot of skills. And seriously, a lot of people can help from it. Even if you don't have a personality disorder, you can really help from learning dialectical behavior therapy. It really helps you learn to control and manage your emotions, especially if you struggle with them. You don't have to have a personality disorder to use it. Marsha Linehan, who created it for those who have impulsive tendencies, and they suicide tendencies, and it was to try and keep them from being impulsive with self-harm and using drugs and things like that. And trust me, it can help. I don't know how well it can help with the drug use or things like that, but I know it can help with the emotional part. Sorry, my dog just got a drink. And even if you don't struggle with this, it's a good thing to learn so you can help those around you cope and manage when they don't know how to cope and manage. Um, I have to say, the biggest thing with having this disorder is not having people judge me. That's what bothers me the most, is people judge me, especially when I say I have a personality disorder. They're so quick to sit there and think I'm crazy. I can't tell you how many times I've been ghosted, how many times people stop talking to me the moment I say BPD. It's gotten to the point where I'm no longer angry about it. I'm more amused by their reactions, because of, it's like, oh, it happened again. And people think I act the way I do on purpose, like I'm purposely putting myself this way, when I don't. It's not something I control all the time. It's not something I control at all. I sit there and I try and control it. I am fighting with myself daily to control it, and people don't understand that. Especially in a professional environment. And I am sorry for my dog starting to wrestle. But, and what I'm referring to in a professional environment is, I am referring to school. Yeah. With having borderline personality disorder, I never learned proper communication. I went to college and I purposely took communication classes. Angel. I purposely went to college and took communications classes to learn how to talk to people. I had to learn how to talk and approach people in therapy. I never learned these skills, and people don't understand that. During the years when I was at the time in my adolescence to learn this, I didn't, because I was alone. I was alone all the time because I was constantly in my bedroom. And when I was at school, I was outcasted. I was bullied. And I never went to the teachers, because every time I did, they would justify the bullies. They would sit there and say, well, kids can be mean. Just have a thicker skin. Ignore them. And when I was sexually harassed, boys will be boys. Ignore them. And that's what I went through. So, I'm not saying I hate teachers. I'm not saying that I hate authority figures. I never learned to communicate with them. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking certain classes in order to learn these skills. I am nearly 34 years old and I don't know these skills, and people don't understand that. People don't understand the shame I feel when I go down the train of I screwed up. And it's sitting there saying, I have to go down the train of apology and going, I screwed up, I'm sorry, and owning up to everything and feeling that shame over and over and over and over again. People don't understand that when people have a mental illness, that's what they have to do constantly. They don't understand that. The constant shame they have to feel for sitting there saying, I'm a screw up. To those who are judgmental and shame you for it. And when you sit there and say You're strong for doing this and then change the subject. You are basically invalidating them. You are changing the subject to make yourself feel better because you don't want to talk about the pain that the person is going through. You have no idea how much strength it took for them to say how much pain they were going through. But you rather talk about something else to make yourself feel better. It's so emotionally intense. And people don't understand that. I don't have the social skills other people do. And people don't understand that. People don't understand. I don't have the social skills. That I had to go through therapy to learn this. That I'm still learning. I never had a job until I had work study, really. And even then, I barely understood it. People don't understand that. When someone says they have a mental illness, have compassion. Have empathy, not sympathy. And the difference between empathy and sympathy is when you are empathetic, you are feeling their pain with them. And when you are sympathetic towards them, you are pitying them. You are feeling sorry for them. And when you do that, you make them feel more shame than you ever do. And that's what happens with me. So, these are my feelings of why I struggle with communication. I just wanted to put this out there. I don't know if I'm going to make any more videos about me and why I struggle with this in my borderline, but I know I'm going to continue to talk about it on my site, and I'm trying to figure out how to build a community for those who struggle with communication and learning this, and I'm trying to figure out so people have a place for acceptance, especially in a work environment. And that's why I want to start my own business, is so that they have that. Thank you if you watched this.